Alright, fellow hunters, time to take a look at the second episode today, which is The Man Who Would Be King. Castiel's sitting on a bench in a park and begins talking to God. He's asking for guidance from God and begins to recount his earliest memories. Cass recounts watching the creation of the Tower of Babel and commented that feces can only be stacked so high. Castiel also talks about coming to Earth, taking a vessel, and meeting Sam and Dean. Plus, Lucifer breaking free from his cage and Sam saying yes and falling. Although in the end, Sam broke free, jumped into the hole and averted the apocalypse. Back at the park, Castiel asks God if he has made the wrong choices or not, and tells his story. Dean is driving the Impala when Castiel pops in. Castiel tells Dean that he's looking for Crowley and he doesn't know how Crowley is still alive. Dean responds by saying that they will find Crowley and will then kill him. Castiel notices Sam isn't there, and Dean replies that Sam was hunting a djinn, and Dean is just going to meet him there. Dean tells Castiel to call if he needs any help, and Castiel disappears. Castiel walks to a room where Crowley is working and is currently dissecting Eve's corpse. Crowley finds that, although Eve is dead, she is still producing eggs, and that torturing her pains her creations. He demonstrates this by stabbing her brain, causing the vampire nearby to howl in pain. Crowley complains to Castiel about the Winchesters killing her, due to causing a problem in their plan to get to Purgatory. Then he reminds Castiel not to see them again, even though Castiel just saw Dean. Castiel tells God that he considers himself to be the guardian of the Winchesters and remembers what happened when Lucifer killed him. For almost 1 second, blown to pieces, put back together, but everything was finished, and Dean kneeling where his brother used to be. Castiel healed Dean and brought Bobby back to life. Following that, Castiel went to hell once more and tried to pull Sam from the cage, although at the time Castiel didn't know that he forgot Sam's soul due to arrogance. Back to Crowley's lab, Crowley asks Castiel to kill Sam and Dean, but Castiel refuses and tells him not to worry. Crowley returns about how Lilith, Alistair, Lucifer, and Azazel didn't worry about Sam and Dean, and subsequently Azazel and Lilith were killed by them. Castiel tells Crowley to find Purgatory, where they will both die again and again until the end of time. As Cass leaves, he promises that Sam and Dean will not find him. Crowley screams to let them find him so he can rip their hearts out. At Bobby's house, Sam and Bobby are interrogating a demon, Red, for the whereabouts of Crowley. He doesn't give any information, and the pillar Ruby's knife just as Dean arrives. Bobby sticks in the demon's leg and goes over to Dean. Dean promised he didn't tell Castiel anything after he mentions Cass popped into his car. Castiel, meanwhile, is spying on them and knows that they are suspicious of him and that Dean is torn between trusting Sam and Bobby versus Castiel. The demon finally reveals his dispatcher, another demon named Ellsworth. The scene moves to a demon with multiple phones surrounding him. Castiel says if there was a demon counterpart for Bobby Singer, Ellsworth would be him. Castiel goes ahead of Sam and Dean so they won't find Ellsworth. Afraid they would follow Ellsworth to Crowley or himself, Castiel destroys the hideout. When Sam, Dean, and Bobby arrive, the place is clean, and they're confused about what has happened. Castiel watches them as they try to figure it out. The scene moves to another flashback to where, after saving Sam, Castiel returns to heaven. He states that each soul generates its own individual paradise, and that he favors the eternal Tuesday afternoon of an autistic man who drowned in a bathtub in 1953. There finds Rachel and other angels wanting to speak to him. Castiel tries to tell them about free will, but the angels don't know what to do with it. He later speaks to Raphael, who resides in Kenlay's heaven. Raphael tells Castiel to pledge allegiance to him and help free Michael and Lucifer to start the apocalypse again. Castiel refuses and is defeated by Raphael. Raphael tells Castiel to either bow or he and his allies will die. And elsewhere, Dean suggests they call for Cass, and they should give Castiel the benefit of the doubt. Despite their doubts, they call for Castiel, but Castiel doesn't come due to his worries about the questions he couldn't answer. As they leave, Crowley's demon attacks them, and the gang to investigate the Crowley says hi. Just as the demons are about to kill them, Castiel appears and saves them all. Castiel tells them he believes Crowley is alive, the news of which is no surprise to the group. Bobby Sam apologized to Castiel for thinking he was working with Crowley and trusted him once again. Castiel is surprised they still trust him, but slips up, and actually says a line he overheard Bobby say when he was spying on them. When Dean hears this, he realizes Castiel was spying on them, and comes to the conclusion that Cass must be working with Crowley. Castiel does not realize this. Angry, Castiel heads to Crowley's lab and tells Crowley not to try to kill Sam and Dean again. Crowley believes Castiel is losing sight of the goal, and the fact that he wants to appear good to the Winchesters so they believe in him, so that Castiel can believe in himself, that what he's doing is right. Castiel gets angry and grabs Crowley and slams him into a wall. Castiel tells Crowley if he goes after Sam and Dean again, he will destroy everything. Another flashback. After Raphael defeated him, Castiel goes to an old friend for help, Dean. As he watches Dean rake leaves, Castiel can bring himself to ask Dean for help after all the sacrifices Dean has made. Then Crowley appears with a deal and suggests they work together. Castiel, believing himself to be strong and smart enough not to fall for the demon's tricks, goes with Crowley. Crowley shows Castiel the new and improved hell, which is one never-ending light. Crowley suggests to Castiel that he start a civil war in heaven. Castiel points out that it will make him the new Lucifer. Crowley retorts that God brought Castiel back for a reason, perhaps to lead the revolution. Crowley proposes they find purgatory, go to Lucifer from it, and use them. Castiel tells Crowley the Winchesters can't be involved. Crowley mentions he can call in Samuel Campbell for help. Crowley wants half of the souls, and Crowley offers Castiel a loan of 50,000 souls from hell, so Castiel can set his side for the Civil War. Crowley tells Castiel that God chose him, and Castiel believes this. Next day, Castiel goes to Raphael and begins the Civil War. Back at Ellsworth's house, Dean summons Castiel. Castiel arrives, and they tell him they have a way to locate Crowley. Castiel asks what it is, and they answer, "It's you," and trap in a ring of holy fire. Dean dares Castiel to look him in the eye and tell the truth. Ashamed, Castiel doesn't look at or respond to Dean. Dean tells Castiel he must know that working with Crowley isn't right. Castiel responds they did it for Dean, and to stop Raphael from restarting the apocalypse. Castiel also reveals that he was the one who really brought Sam back from hell, which depresses everyone. Sam then says that Castiel did a poor job of it, and then asks if Castiel brought him back soulless on purpose. Castiel denies this and tells him that he had no choice, but Dean refuses by saying it wasn't complicated. Castiel must have known this, since he kept it secret from Sam and Dean. Then a demon cloud approaches the house and Castiel notices and warns them. Castiel tells him to run. Dean gives him one last look before they depart. Crowley arrives to freeze Castiel from the holy fire. He assures Castiel he won't hurt the Winchesters. Crowley tells Castiel that friends will just hold him back, but Castiel isn't comforted by the words. He tells Crowley to get out of his sight. As Crowley leaves, he remarks the difference between him and Castiel is that he knows what he is. At Bobby's house, the angel proved the house, and Dean is sleeping. He wakes up to see Castiel, and is surprised to see he got through the words. Castiel comments that Bobby didn't do the words right. Castiel tells Dean he's doing this for him, and because of what Dean taught him about freedom. Dean responds that the freedom is able to do what he wants, isn't the freedom to do anything he wants. Dean kisses him by saying that Castiel is like a brother to him and asks Castiel to stop. Castiel asks Dean what he would do if he doesn't stop, and Dean responds by saying he will do what he has to. Castiel tells Dean that he is an angel and Dean is just a man. Dean points out that he's taken down tougher opponents. Castiel then disappears. Cut back to the scene with Castiel in the park, and him saying that human perspective is limited. He asks God again if what he is doing is the right thing. If Castiel doesn't receive a sign, he will do what he must. Castiel waits, but there's no response. Castiel is once again disappointed by his father. Aww. So anyway, let's take a look at some continuity surrounding this episode. Dean had previously stated that Castiel brought Sam back in exile on Main Street. Samuel Campbell was mentioned. He previously appeared in, and then there were none. Raphael was last seen in The French Mistake. Eve's death was mentioned. It was seen in Mommy Dearest. And now finally, let's take a look at some trivia from this episode. Writer director Bette Allen said before this episode, airing episode, that sets up the high stakes for the season finale. This is the first Castiel-centric episode. The episode's title refers to the book, The Man Who Would Be King, regarding the working relationship between Castiel and Crowley. Azrael Castiel is the one who freed Sam from Lucifer's cage. This is the first episode to feature a prehistoric creature, and a dinosaur footprint is showcased in The Bad Place. The actor who portrayed the second Ellsworth hunter was the same who portrayed the Meg's minion. So I think this episode is pretty interesting, and I like that we do get flashbacks to what happened between the season 5 finale and what happened in season 6. So yeah. So for all I give, The Man Who Would Be King, 4 Impalas out of 5. When we tune in we take a final episode of the day, Let It Bleed. So until then, carry on, my wayward sons and daughters.